Hello, my name is Kerry from Kerry's Card Creations. Welcome. So I'm back today with another one of my scrap bin challenges. So scrap bin challenge is where I started this many years ago with my craft class ladies, and basically you've got to make something and all you can use is scraps out the scrap bin. I then decided I was going to bring this to my YouTube channel, and a lot of people have said that they really like it, so I've decided to carry on, and I think we're on something like week 7 maybe. So anyway, not making a card today, but the idea is literally you just use what you've got in your scrap bin. So I'm going to make like a man's wallet. So I've done a lot of my cutting and scoring to cut down on the prep time, because I had it in my head what I wanted to do, but I weren't quite sure of measurements and stuff. So I had a piece of this. I was making a card this morning for something else. So this is all what I've got left over from projects that I've made previously. So I was left with a piece of coloured card that was 29 by 23. I've cut this piece of card down to 10 centimetres by 22.5 centimetres. And then what I did was I scored it on the long side at 10.5 and 21. And then I folded and burnished, and then I just took a sliver off the end so that it wasn't going across that score line there, and then I folded and burnished. So I've got like a wallet shape. That's what I've got. So then on one side I'm going to put a tuck pocket. So this is like a gift card holder, that sort of thing. It's like in the style of a wallet type thing. So this piece of coloured card measures 5 by 10, and I've taken my 2-inch circle punch and just cut a notch in it, and I'm just going to add glue just along the 3 sides, the 3 tiny glue, because I don't want to make my pocket too small. Right. So I'm just going to glue that just this side of that score line. Like that. Okay, then I've got a piece. So this is also, I had this piece laying around. I've been using this embossing folder today. It's an Embossabilities folder. It is really old, from Spellbinders. I've been using this for another project, and I had embossed this checker plate one in Miricard, and I had that left over. I hadn't used it, so I decided I would cut it all up. So this piece measures 3.5 by 9.5, and I'm going to pop this on there like that just to decorate that side. Okay, so that's that side done. And then this side I thought I'd do a pocket. So I've got a piece of my coloured card. This piece measures 7 by 11, and I've scored 3 sides, 2 short sides and one of the long sides at 1.5 centimetres, and then fold and burnish. So I've folded and burnished these already, and I'm just going to cut these corners away. So I'm going to cut these 2 corners away, and then I'm just going to miter the top of this section and this section. So I've got that shape now, and then I'm just going to glue this together. Got a cramp in my foot. So I'm going to add glue to those ones, stick that over, and then add glue to that bottom one as well. And I'm going to put that just on the bottom of there, like that. So it's about 5 millimeters up from the bottom, and then 1 centimeter from each side. Okay, so I'm going to decorate the front of there. So I've got a piece of that embossed mirror card again. This measures 5 by 7.5. I'm going to put tape on this because it's so detailed. That's struggling to stick with my wet glue. So I'm going to put my tape. I'll put tape on the back and hopefully this holds it better. So that goes on there. Okay. Then I've got a piece that I had left over from my other project. This one measures 4 by 6.5. So again, I'm going to put some tape on there. This is a fantastic way to use up. I had a stamped image left over as well. So this is a fantastic way to use your scraps up. I've reduced the scraps in my scrap bin massively by doing these videos on YouTube. And like I said, it was lovely to get some feedback to say that how much people enjoyed these scrap bin challenges. So these scrap bin videos. So hopefully it gives you some inspiration on using up some of your scraps too. Right, so that's that. So then I'm just going to turn it over. I've got a piece of that mirror card again. This measures 10 by 9.5. And I'm going to put that on the front of there like that. And again, I'm going to use tape. Again, I've just cut some of these pieces to fit. I haven't. Nothing has been new. I've not used anything new. If you're anything like me, you just stick your scraps in I've got a box, hence why I call it scrap bin, I think, that I stick all my scraps in, and you'd never use them. So this has been fantastic to use up so many. Right, so that's that piece there. Okay, then I've got a little piece. This measures 1 centimetre by 9.5, and I'm going to stick this piece on this piece here. I'm going to have to glue this because I don't think, oh actually I've got a thin tape. I lied. This one's not quite as sticky as my other one. And take that off. Usually the back of this tape comes off quite easy, but obviously because I'm filming it's not going to. Here we go. I'm just going to run another piece down that edge. That stick. That stick. Right. You'll have to excuse me. Anybody that's been following my YouTube channel for quite some time will know I suffer with chronic hay fever, and guess we're coming into hay fever season, so it's going to be a nightmare. Right, just stick that on there. So that's what we've got so far. Like a pocket like that. Right, so to finish decorating the front, I have got a piece of my coloured card. This piece measures 2 by 9, and I've got a piece of that embossed mirror, and this is going to measure 1.5 by 8.5 centimetres. Okay, just gonna see that tape comes off lovely. This is, I get this one from our local, it's called Proper Job. It's a sell everything kind of shop, and I've said this many times before. I don't know if Proper Job is something we just have here or whether it's something that's all over the country. Right, I'm going to pop that. This is just decoration now. I'll pop that on there. Like that. Excuse me, these are just pieces I had left over. So then I've got a piece of my coloured card. This measures 5.5 centimetres by 5.5 centimetres, and then a piece of that embossed mirror, which is 5 by 5. Yes, I'm not sure if Proper Job is all over the country or whether it's something, do we have it in the southwest, or is it just something? I know there's one in Weston-super-Mare. I know there's one in Bridgewater. There's one in the town I live, and there's one in Burnham-on-Sea in the next town. So I'm not sure if it's just something here or if it's all over. Oh, right, I'm going to pop that on there like that. So I'm going to put tape on the back of there. Pop that on there. Right, then I had this motorbike left over from another project that I'd stamped. So I'm going to put some foam pads on the back of there. This clock changing business has really unsettled me. It's, yeah, my head feels all fuzzy. Right, I'm going to pop that on there. Like that. So I've also had stamped this tire tread. Now my ink pad is running out. My new ones are arriving tomorrow, but it did work out really well because it come out quite rustic looking. So I quite like that. And then I stamped Discover and Explore. So I just thought I would tuck maybe I'll do something like something like that. Let's pop a bit of, is that wide enough for that? No. Stick myself down. Oh. I said to my husband just now before he went out, last weekend we spent the whole weekend in the garden and it was beautiful. It was warm and lovely. And today it's overcast and it's chilly. And then he says to me, oh, Kerry, the weather forecast for the next week is rain as well. So he's a pure joy. He's a pure joy, he is. I was like, great, that's fantastic. Right, so I'm going to pop that on there. And then I'm going to pop some of that on there. So these are, I just cut these by hand. I didn't even attempt to put these in my guillotine or paper trimmer to cut. I'll pop that one on there. And then I'm just going to pop that one on the inside. There we go. So then closing it, I thought I have got next to me some of this string that I bought from, is that B&M? Is that B&M price tag? It could be. So I thought maybe I would do a closure with this because I didn't want to use Velcro dots because that's quite thin there. And Velcro dots are okay, but they're not, that's a bit of a tight squeeze there. Let's find the end. That don't look like the end to me. Well, I don't know, maybe it does. What did I just do with my tweezers? Look, I had them in my hand now. That definitely looks like the end there. I knew it was the end. I thought I would just do a wrap around. So I have got my crocodile in front of me. So I thought I would do... I'm proper winging this now. Let's punch a hole in there and pop an eyelet in there. And I've got my eyelets right next to me because I use those for something else as well. I use a black one. I'll pop that in there. I wish I had some a scrap piece of ribbon, but I don't. Because I use all my scrap pieces of ribbon as soon as I get them. I sit and tie bows with them and things. Right, let's just give that a squeeze. Oh, no, not like that though. That's that. So then I thought we could just, let's go cut some of this off. This was as cheap as anything in B&M, £2.99. £2.50 for two. Right. So I thought we would tie that through there. And then we'll just wrap that round. Wrap that round. And then wrap that round again. And then just do a tie. And tie a knot. Not on my motorbike's head though. Should we do it a bit closer to the Let's make this a little bit more symmetrical. It's a shame I don't have it, and they are useless scissors, they are, for cutting anything. That's better. Like I say, I wish I had a piece of scrap ribbon, but I actually use as soon as my ribbon as soon as I've got a piece of scrap ribbon, I usually make bows with it, and then I pop them into Happy Man and stuff. So I never have a lot of scrap really, little bits and pieces, but not too much. I'm just titivating now, that trying to get it to sit how I want it. There we go. And there we go. So there is my scrap bin project. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. If you give it a go, that would be lovely. I do have a Facebook group. It's not massive, but if you'd like to join, I would put a link in the description bar. I'd love to see if you make anything from any of my tutorials. I'd love to see what you'd make. Pop it in the group. The group is literally for just people that come to my craft classes, so there's no outsiders really in it. But there is a few of my YouTube followers that are now YouTube subscribers that are now in that group, so that's really lovely. So you'd be more than welcome. You just have to it does ask you why you want to join the group though, but like I say, I'll leave that in the description bar, and I'll be back again soon. Till then, take care. Bye bye.